Guys, Tyson Fury's allowed to have a break. He's allowed to go on holiday, guys. Doesn't need to. He's been training since the start of the year, right? Maybe slightly a little bit before that as well, right? So let's just say around November time. You think he's not allowed to break all that time he's been training? He's not allowed to break? What is he supposed to do? What, burn himself out? Keep training until 3 weeks before June? He's allowed to break, guys. Calm down. The fight is all right. The fight ain't going nowhere. Trust me on that one, yeah? He said, quote, Tyson Fury, quote, "You never know if I'm telling the truth or not. When I tell the truth, people don't believe me anyway. And when I don't tell the truth, they still don't believe me. Everything I said in my whole career, I backed up." Now, guys, let me ask you a question. There's two people who you should pay attention to, and that's not Tyson Fury or Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn ain't got a clue when it comes to what's in Fury's mind. The only two people I pay attention to, really and truly, is Sugar Hill and Frank Warren when it comes to Tyson Fury. All right, guys, Traversal ENT in the building, guys. We're back again with another one. All right, my job today, guys, is to put this Tyson Fury thing to bed, right? I want to put it to bed once and for all. Why? Because once again, there seems to be confusion in the grapevine. Everyone's starting to hear this, that. I'm starting to hear that people are saying, "Oh, Tyson Fury looks like he doesn't really fancy it." Eddie Hearn's kind of worried about Tyson Fury's mindset towards this whole AJ thing. Tyson Fury's trying to find ways to back out of the fight. Tyson Fury this, Tyson Fury that. Joshua's calling out Fury, trying to give him some sort of spark by calling him out, saying this, saying that he'll, for him, Fury's like a warm-up, XYZ, to try and get Fury to react and give Fury the spark to get excited about the fight. But guys, it's like, and I'm watching comments and whatnot, reading comments, etc. Guys, I already did the video where I was talking about how Tyson Fury's fooling everyone, right? I already did a video on that, but it seems that a lot of people just didn't understand. Or it's like half of the people did, half they didn't, right? Half they did, half they didn't. So let me put this matter to bed once and for all, right? Make it short, make it sweet, real brief, yeah? Pay attention. So this new stuff that Tyson Fury's saying with the whole, he only needs 6 or 7 weeks to defeat bums or to spar with these bums. Garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. Guys, Fury's got no respect for journeymen and bums. He really has none, right? So Fury's talking about he only needs 6 or 7 weeks to defeat one of these guys and get him out of there. And then he's still ready to defeat Anthony Joshua. This is one guy who says that in one breath, yeah? That he can still beat a bodybuilder like Joshua after knocking out or getting rid of a bum. He only needs 6 weeks to knock out a bum, right? And he'll still fight Joshua and beat him after that. And then the same guy tells you, "Oh, I stopped training now because, no, he says that he can have crates and crates of beer, alcohol, lager, all of that, and just start enjoying life and enjoying his leisure," right? But guys, look, you lot are looking too deep into it. Here's one thing I will say to you lot, yeah? 2021, Tyson Fury will fight Anthony Joshua, okay? That is cemented, guys, yeah? So don't listen to Fury, don't listen to AJ or anyone that tells you different. And for you Deontay Wilder fans out there, I'm going to tell you, look, this one time only. Deontay Wilder is not going to get a shot at Tyson Fury before Fury fights AJ. Keep that in your psyche, understand that, bury that in your heads. I know you want to see your fighter Deontay Wilder get in there with Fury, but guess what? Wilder doesn't want that next. I don't honestly believe that, first and foremost. Because in the names that he was calling out, remember the list that Wilder gave you not long ago? Fury wasn't on that list of the fighters that he wanted to fight against. So I don't want to hear about Wilder, right? Fury's not fighting Wilder next, guys. The only person Fury's going to be fighting is Anthony Joshua. Now, let's talk about when that fight is going to happen. Now, I'll tell you this much, yeah? Fury would love to put Joshua in a situation that Joshua doesn't want to be in, right? Whether it means delay Joshua, right? Whether it means to make the fight earlier, whatever. He would love to put AJ in a situation that AJ doesn't necessarily fancy, but AJ will nonetheless take because of what the whole fight means. Fury would love nothing more than that. But for me personally, whether the fight happens in summertime or whether the fight happens wintertime, I don't really care That's the truth. I don't really care. As long as I get that fight 2021, I'm not bothered when that fight happens. It could happen May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Doesn't bother me the slightest. Now, let me ask you a question. Why does it bother you lot so much? I mean, you got to understand this, right? Make no mistake about it. They could have the fight in June, right? There'll be some sort of a crowd. Okay. But it cannot be full capacity with the rules and the regulations that are going on at the moment, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. If that fight was to happen at the end of the year, the rules and the regulations might be a lot more relaxed. They could potentially get more people viewing the fight. Me, as a fan, as a spectator, I would prefer that fight happens at the end of the year because it would give me a chance to have a ticket to watch the fight. How do you guys know I haven't been saving up? Because I know this ticket's going to be crazy money. How do you not know I haven't been saving up to buy me a ticket to get there? But what are my chances if it's limited crowd? My chances are ultra slim. If there's a bigger crowd, I get more of a chance to attend the fight. So I'm not fussed if the fight happens in summertime or winter as long as it happens 2021, which the fight will. So all this talk about Wilder coming in and having a fight with Fury in between, it doesn't even matter if Tyson Fury tells you that Wilder's going to do that. He's not. Let me tell you one more thing that Tyson Fury said, and you got to really pay attention to what he says because he does give you, subtle info within what he says, right? He said, quote, Tyson Fury, quote, "You never know if I'm telling the truth or not. When I tell the truth, people don't believe me anyway. And when I don't tell the truth, they still don't believe me. Everything I said in my whole career, I backed up." Now, guys, let me ask you a question. There's two people who you should pay attention to, and that's not Tyson Fury or Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn ain't got a clue when it comes to what's in Fury's mind. The only two people I pay attention to, really and truly, is Sugar Hill and Frank Warren when it comes to Tyson Fury, right? Those two guys I pay attention to. I don't pay attention to Bob Arum. I never ever will. For me, no way. And I don't pay attention to Eddie Hearn. So, did Sugar Hill come out and say that the fight with AJ looks like it's not happening anymore? I haven't heard it. If you have, you tell me. I haven't heard that at all. Because he knows that fight is happening. Did Frank Warren tell you the fight with AJ is not happening anymore? In fact, Frank Warren said an announcement's imminent. I couldn't care less if they're going to announce that it's now or it's delayed. I couldn't care less. But he's not saying the fight ain't happening. He's saying it's still in schedule. Everything is in schedule. Both parties have done what they need to do. Why would Frank Warren tell you that if that was completely false? He would look stupid. But he's confident. You guys are the ones paying too much attention to Tyson Fury. I told you, let Fury do what he does. Fury likes to throw confusion. It's part of who he is, right? It works. Why? Because it could discourage AJ from training harder than he is already. He might think, this guy's looking like he wants to back out. Let me slow down. You know what, that sparring? Let's not do the sparring anymore. Forget it. Until this guy gets serious about what's happening, stop the sparring for a minute. But Fury, to me, I'm looking at Fury in these latest videos. The guy looks in shape to me. Fury looks in good shape to me when I'm looking at him. I couldn't care for the belly fat. The guy looks in good shape when I'm looking at him, guys. That's real talk. One more thing I'll say and I'll end it there, right? Now, guys, remember and understand something. Sugar Hill told you that Tyson Fury's been training. He's living that life. He's been training. Fury himself said, all I've been doing is training. I need a break now. And you know what? Guys, isn't that logic? Tyson Fury can't train. Bear in mind, he's been training for a while. He can't consistently keep training from now till, 2-3 weeks before the fight in June. This is what you call burning yourself out. He'll completely be burnt out. He needs to train, gap. That's how it is for professional athletes, in case you lot didn't know. You train, you have to put a pause to your training because he's hit the peak that they wanted him to hit. He's ticked that box for his trainers, right? So they said, break now, Fury. So now he's on his break. But he also told you he's not eating a lot. Yeah, he'll drink alcohol here and there. No biggie. He's training. He's on his break. He'll get back into training. He might be on another little break and then polish it right up towards the end, depending on when the fight is going to happen, right? So the whole idea of training, breaks, training, this is just common sense. This is what fighters do, guys. It's no biggie. I don't understand why Tyson Fury is making the boxing news with what he's saying. Stop buying into it. Stop buying into it. Stop believing the hype of Wilder's going to come in and get a fight with Fury first. The clause. For you Wilder fans, one more time, I'll tell you this, right? Tyson Fury never again in his life has to go into the ring with Deontay Wilder. Do you understand? It's like I told you lot before. He doesn't physically have to get in there with Wilder. Clause or not, he can simply compensate Deontay Wilder accordingly. Now, he might face certain reprimands. There are definitely reprimands, and that's why you have these clauses, right? The reprimand is the deterrent. It deters the fighter from breaking out of the contract. But no one can put a gun to your head and say, get in the ring, get fighting. It doesn't work like that, right? It's either you pay the severe consequences of coming out of the clause or you get in the ring. But Fury's not going to fight Wilder, especially not before AJ. Are you lot crazy? Think about this. Why on earth would Fury fight Wilder before AJ? If Fury fights Wilder before AJ, let's say Wilder beat him. Do you think AJ's going to want to fight Fury after that? AJ will start chasing the Wilder fight because that's the fight that's going to make sense at that point, right? Common sense, guys. It's not that difficult to understand. Stop entertaining all this Tyson Fury stuff. I get bored watching this Tyson Fury stuff because I know it's BS. I know he's going to fight Anthony Joshua. Point blank period, guys. Pay attention to Sugar Hill. Pay attention to Frank Warren. Stop listening to Eddie Hearn and anyone else, especially Bob Arum, guys. Traversal ENT in the building, guys. Recognize, yeah? Make sure you do the right thing if you ain't done so already. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Support the channel, guys. I'll be back with some more.